Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumu. Religion is an important subject in Nigeria. In fact, there are those who argue that much of Nigeria's developmental strides or otherwise can be attributed to the religious interpretations of Nigerians that influence their education, culture, and even matters of politics and economics. A Nigerian-born life coach who has spent over 2 decades working in the United Kingdom, Sam Akowe, has written and published this book titled God, Faith, and Reality, in an attempt to examine the influence of religion on personal and collective performances in Nigeria. A major concern he expresses is how people tend to fail to take personal responsibility for their situations because of religious beliefs. Well, it's a book that walks on the edge, yet it addresses the relevant issue of faith. As you might have noticed, once in a while, we invite guests who have read particular books to join us and the author as we explore the book in focus. And so today, joining Sam and I to do this is Adeniyi Adekunle, the author of several faith-based books, including Blending or Bleeding and I'm Back, Bigger and Better. Enjoy our chat. Sam, author of God, Faith and Reality. Nice to have you on Channel's Book Club.
Thank you, Kunle.
And Niyi Adekunle, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Nice to be here.
Sam, we both read your book. I'm going to ask Niyi what he thinks about your book. But let me give you my own thoughts, my own initial thoughts. I was expecting a very religious book when I saw your title. But going through it, I saw that you were addressing issues of religion, but you were also looking at very pragmatic, real-life, practical things, and then trying to address some of the perceptions out there in our society. So that was my first impression, and then the impression I developed after I got into the book. But Niyi, let's start with you. Your first thoughts about God, faith, and reality.
That's an interesting one. Now, myself and Sam have spoken about the book. Very interesting book, straight shooting, no hanky-panky. And you think really like it's a religious book. And it has some religious, because the setting is about, faith and the approach of people to faith. But you will think, which was my first thing, doesn't he believe in God? Doesn't he believe in God? So I see that he believes in God, so it's okay. But what I came out of it was that Sam was trying to address a situation where people, should I call it over-dependence of God, where they abdicate their personal responsibility and believe that God should be the one doing every single thing in their life. I think that's the crux of the book, from what...
Okay, Sam, why did you write God, Faith, and Reality? And for those who are out there, what's it about? What's the crux?
Thank you. You are right to assume on first sighting of the book, especially in relationship with the title. Many people thought, oh, it's a religious book. And then some come out to say, look, this person is anti-Christ or anti-religion.
Or an atheist.
Yeah, but no, that's not the truth. The truth of the matter is this. I wrote this book based on my personal experience and my general observation about things happening around me. I was born in this country. I've lived in the United Kingdom now for 26 years. And I have seen how countries develop, especially in a proper setting. Then looking at Nigeria, and Africa in general, we have so much potential. Why are we not doing well? And Nigerians and Africans abroad are doing so well. Therefore, I come to the conclusion that why we are not that successful in what we are doing is because of our mindset, the way we see things. We seem to depend on God for virtually everything we do in life, rather than looking inward and say, what can I do for myself? I have a brain, can I use it? That's the crux of the book.
Yes, I got that sense from, it's very strong in your book. The desire, the determination to take people, to take the reader from that position of always thinking that God is the solution to every problem, or can't do anything except there is God, or to blame Satan for any problem, and so on. I saw that very strongly in your book. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I asked Niyi to read it and invited him, to get his own impression about that. Because you've lived in the UK for 26 years. Niyi lives in Nigeria, even though he travels regularly, and I think you lived your first few years over there. Now, in a society where there's a lot of religion, I got the sense that when people read this book, they might get offended.
Possibly, yeah.
Did you get that sense when you read it? And what's your response to that?
In reading the book, I first went through it to try to understand what the real issue was. And Sam has an interesting way of writing. He takes us back and forth. So I knew he was writing from a deep experience. And once somebody is writing from experience, you want to be careful. I might not really agree with everything, but again, I can't fault his experiences. And even though he will write, you will never see him say there's no God in this book. At least as far as I read, you will not see that. So you're not an antichrist, you wouldn't see that. But he's very unapologetic about his belief that like religion and God could be a burden sometimes. That it's just a drag. Just get to it. Just get to what you are doing and stop using God and religion and all that. Which is where I slightly differ. Again, I understand that people could use religion as a covering and as an excuse for so many things, which I can't fault that. But the truth is this: it's going to be a